everyone, right before this episode begins, I've got an announcement. It's a very exciting one. We are starting an app. We basically wanted to do it to thank you guys for being so incredible, being so supportive and just being so kind. So within this app, you're going to get extra content, you're going to get behind the scenes footage, bloopers, not that there's many of those. You're going to get giveaways, competitions, and so much more. Then we're going to introduce a subscription. And if you subscribe, you'll be able to vote on upcoming content. You'll be able to do special events, join me at the pub, and also come on set. But it's not quite ready yet, so you'll have to wait a little while. But until then, enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome to another episode of Kid in a Sweet Shop. Today I've come to the very picturesque village of Marlow, where I've come to meet a very good friend of mine who is also an awesome chef at his 2 Michelin star restaurant called the Hand and Flowers. It's one of my favourite places. He's told me to meet him here, so I shall wait. It's you!
Hello, gorgeous. Come on, in
Look
you
at
get.
this baby.
Come on, get
I
in.
can't believe it. You've got a 355.
I know, how amazing.
Hi, darling.
Hello, gorgeous.
Mwah. How
You all right?
are you? Oh my goodness.
Can we go for a spin?
Yes.
Come on
let's
then.
do it.
Let's go for a spin.
355, baby.
Something about that engine noise in there.
And a gated gearbox.
Gated gearbox.
Oh.
So I've been very lucky, right, that we've done all right. I've been successful in my chosen career, and the added bonus of books and all sorts of stuff. And
But bloody hard graft is what I have to say, because I've known you for many years.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's a lot of work.
you've worked hard. You deserve this.
I'd always wanted, like, isn't it every boy's dream to own a Ferrari?
Was
like
this on your wall?
Yeah. Well,
Poster on
actually,
your
I'm a
wall?
little bit old. This is 1997, so I would have been, what would I be?
not too old.
25 to have car pictures on my wall, maybe. But it was kind of like, I mean, maybe not. Who knows? But it's.
Brilliant.
But I'd always wanted one. But I've always wanted. It had to be red, Ferrari red. If you're going to have a first Ferrari, right, it's got to be red.
Yeah.
Right. It's got to be red, and I wanted the cream interior, and it's got to be manual. Like, it's got to be manual. Now, I'm very lucky. I've got other motors, and modern ones with the Tiptronic gearbox and the whatever, which is great.
You've got Porsche.
I quite, but I quite like. There's something so just almost agricultural about it. Like, is that like? And the thing about this car, so I haven't quite got used to driving this at its full potential yet, and because it drives, it goes really quite nicely. As an everyday, you can just bobble along quite easily, but this comes alive when it's over 5,000 revs, and but then when you're at 5,000 revs, I mean, you're driving,
exactly.
5,000 revs in a manual gearbox, exactly, 5,000 revs in a manual gearbox in a Ferrari. I mean, you've got to be awake, haven't you?
I'm
like, it is.
It does. It evokes this.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. I love you. Get it. You just go, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then, and I don't know what it is. I mean, I've always loved cars, right? And cars. Some people just have cars because they get you from A to B, and that's it. And that's the purpose of getting you there. But there's something that you buy into. Cars have character, but there's something about a Ferrari in it. And unless I've been so lucky that I've driven a couple, every time you get in one, you go, oh my god, there's something. It makes it feel alive. It makes you go, this is unbelievable. And you don't even need to be driving fast. There's just something that goes, oh my god, there's a noise and there's a buzz in there.
And the history of this car, it's just the ultimate ones. I think you have to have a red one, and you've got the green interior. It's just perfect. It's utterly perfect. It's like, right, Ferrari tick. But let's go back to, what was your first ever car?
So my first ever car was an Austin Montego. But it was an Austin Montego, but they did the MG version of it.
Yes.
So it was this great big unit of a car that was, I mean, it was quite good fun, but I actually only owned it for about 3 weeks.
Oh no, why?
I wrote it off in a head-on collision. Like it was just, I mean,
were you all right?
Yeah, I was fine.
Right?
Yeah, no, I was fine. They were, well, funnily enough, like it's one of the only other times I've met another Mr. Kerridge. His name is Mr. Kerridge.
You had a head-on collision.
I had a head-on collision with a Mr. Kerridge when I was 17, just coming up to 18, with a in a Montego. Yeah, it was, I know.
That is, thank God everyone was all right, but the car wasn't.
Car wasn't, and then after that, I'd spent quite a bit of money on it, and obviously, when you're 18 years old,
3 weeks as well, gutted.
And you only insure things, don't you, third party? And it was my fault, so that was it. It was gone. So after that, I couldn't afford very much. So then after that, it was a Vauxhall Astra.
Yeah.
I liked the Vauxhall Astra 1.3.
Yeah.
I had a couple of those. And then then I started when I had a bit more money, and that's when I started getting quite excited again about car. I love car.
Yeah.
But it was a Citroen AX GT.
Oh, nice.
And honestly, it's one of my favourite cars I've owned. It was a front wheel drive. It was only a 1.3, but it had such high gear ratios. It would really, every time you got in it, it would feel like it was making you, come on, let's have fun.
Yeah.
And it wasn't super quick or anything.
No.
But it was one of those cars that you loved driving. Exactly, loved driving. A Peugeot 205 GTI.
Brilliant.
And Ford Fiesta XR2 with the pepper pot alloys.
Yes.
Loved one of those.
Wow.
That was amazing.
So you liked your little cars?
Yeah, well, that's all kind of those hot hatches.
Hot hatches,
yeah. You know, and they were great. And then I suppose moving from that, I've always loved cars. And then as I got into kitchens, lived in London, didn't really need them on the tube. And then got to the point where I started, when I made a bit of cash and the Hand of Flowers was doing all right, I had a Audi S8.
Yes.
With the one where it had the V10 engine, the one that was in a Lamborghini.
Oh, it's good. Oh, yes.
And so it was a great big saloon car with the Lambo engine in it, and honestly, it was such a lush motor.
Yeah.
Couple of those I've had.
Noisy.
Which is great.
You had a couple.
Yeah, I
like it. You're quite loyal.
I quite liked them. And then it was time for a change, and I bought. It was an amazing car, and I wish I kept it. It was a C63 Mercedes, brand new.
Oh my god!
And that was
that's.
I think that was on a 12 plate, 13 plate.
Very quick.
And it was rapid, noisy, ridiculous amount of power going to rear wheel drive. Like every time I got home, no matter how long or short the journey was, I was just thankful it hadn't killed me. It was a really aggressive but amazing motor. I loved it. Very shouty. But someone crashed into it when I was parked.
Oh, no.
So it was it was parked outside my house, and bless this poor old lady, little old lady, she just crashed into it. Not badly, she was fine.
I hope you didn't have it on third party.
No, that one was all right. I had it. Well, actually, it was under her insurance anyway, so it don't matter. But she crashed into it. So then when it got sent off to be repaired, they sent a 911 Porsche. And I'd never ever thought of owning a Porsche, right?
Yeah, no, they've got a stigma, haven't they?
Big, powerful cars, big engines, all this sort of stuff. And they sent me a Porsche. I was like, oh, okay. And I got in it, and oh my god, it was magic.
Yeah,
I fell in love. I just thought, oh my god, this is such a such an amazing motor.
It really,
and it was just everything about it was built to do what it does. It's a quick, nimble, nippy, the balance of it, everything. It was such good fun to drive, and I just went, oh my god. So when it came to the time of changing the Mercedes, I got a 911. Well, I went through the brands. So I went to see Porsche, and I did a track day with them, and I drove through all the models from the Turbo S all the way down to the base level Carrera, right? To the Carrera. And if on that day I would have bought anything, I'd have bought the Carrera S, not the Turbo. The Turbo was amazing. What a machine, everything it was built to do. But the Carrera was a bit like the Citroen AX. It was just like, it was built for fun driving. It's not, where do you really need to go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds?
I get it.
And then where do you?
I mean,
where
I
do you?
love it, and I would definitely need a car that does that. But it's true.
On
It's
a
totally
daily
unpractical.
on a daily route, on a
To
daily
get,
thing like this.
if you want to keep your license, it's suddenly you're in third, you're in fourth, and you're speeding. Hey, hello, baby. We're driving through. Henley is. Oh, I don't come up here enough. It is so beautiful.
It's a gorgeous town,
So
isn't it?
between Marlow, where the Hand and Flowers is, the coach, and tell us about the new one.
The Butcher's Tap and
the
Grill.
Butcher's.
So we opened that as a small little pub. It was a retail space.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, well, and it kind of worked. It didn't work. We've gone through lockdown, and so we've now kind of changed it. We put a lovely little grill kitchen at the back, like so. And so you can now buy your steaks. Yeah. For the same price, like takeaway. It works as a retail.
Raw.
Yeah, exactly. Raw. It's a butcher's counter with sausages, steaks, lamb rumps, chicken kebabs, whatever else has got on it. So you buy that to then take home for your weekend barbecue, whatever you want. Or you buy it and then you pay a grill charge. So we charge a little amount for you to sit in there and they cook it for you. And the chef in there, Jamie.
Fantastic idea.
I know. Well, he was head chef at the Hand of Flowers. He was with us at the Hand of Flowers for 10 years. So this is a guy that ran the Hand of Flowers with 2 Michelin stars for, the last 3 years.
Chef.
And so he's there developing recipes, cooking this meat. It's very simple. It's a concept, but that steak is going to be cooked absolutely perfectly and beautifully.
And you can get some chips. You can get other bits with it.
Chips, burgers, some bits and bobs, and it works so well for Marlow. It's a brilliant little pub.
And it's just everyone's fallen in love with it.
Yeah, Marlow's really got around. It's got the sport on like any other pub. It'll have the football, it'll have the so it's and you can't book. It's not like everywhere else where you book. It's like a local pub. You turn up and you have steak and chips, and it has.
And it's either
you've
full
got
or
people
it's
that
not.
It's full all the time. Full all the time. You've got people queuing. On a Friday and Saturday night, it's super busy. And it's got a real lovely kind of vibe and feel to it. We're very lucky that in the area.
Here we go. Yes.
Chris Evans lives in the area, and he's in there every Friday night, and he talks about it on the radio station. I think that helps.
So, empty checkbook.
Yeah.
Any car in the world.
Oh my God.
What would it be?
So, I don't know. There's so many, aren't there, right? And there's so many lovely cars. So I saw. Yeah. And it was.
I'm trying to guess what you would do. I'm trying to guess what a car.
It was Maranello.
Oh.
And it's a Ferrari.
Yeah.
And it was a 458 Speciale.
Yes.
And it was the Apparetta one with the roof off. And it was painted. It had this pearlescent white paint with blue stripes down the front. This beautiful, the Alcantara leather inside.
Gorgeous.
And I think it was about 750 grand, right? And it had done something like 430 miles. It had done, and it was just like, so this is a car that's, what's the 458? It's got to be 10 years old, isn't it? 10, 12 years old.
Good 10 years.
But it was one of those cars that the paint, the finish, it took my breath away of how incredible it looked, and just everything about it. I just went, do you know what? That is a magical car. Yeah. So probably a 458 Speciale. I wanted something I'd be able to drive. The problem is, right, you can go for all these incredible cars with about performance, whatever. I am not Lewis Hamilton. I can't get the performance out of that car, and legally you can't do that either.
Unless you're going to track days every weekend.
Yeah. You want one you want to be able to enjoy. That one, super fast, super special. But I mean, that would be an empty checkbook. Would I drive it every day? Probably not. No.
Here we are. My favourite second pub.
Here we are. We'll take that.
Look at the babies.
Here we are. We're at the Hand of Flowers. So
before we talk about, I mean, honestly, apart from my own pub, my other favourite pub, which is the Hand and Flowers, your baby. I kind of wanted to touch on how, you know, your childhood, did you always want to become a chef?
No, oh my God, no, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I grew up, was a single parent family. It was my mum and just myself and my brother living on an estate in Gloucester. We went to a comprehensive school, and it was just kind of, you know, hanging out with your mates. That it was just I mean, it was a fairly standard background. I mean, there were loads of kids who only had one parent. There were loads of, like, you know, parents were divorced, and so I went into a kitchen as an 18, needing money, a job. So I went into a hotel to wash up. That was it. But it was pretty much the moment I walked through the back door of that kitchen, like where you walk past the bins and the noise and the whatever, so you see all the posh front bit, you love it, and then you go into the back, you know, and you go. It's almost like being backstage in, if you've ever been backstage of a band or a show, and you go in, and it's kind of like, wow, this is quite cool. You're in the real, you're in the depths of something, and I walked into that kitchen and just the energy, the atmosphere. I mean, you know it now. You're like in your pub. There's a real buzz that you get from busy, that's in it, and it starts from first thing in the morning, breakfast, people making things, doing stuff. It starts from 7 o'clock in the morning when the deliveries are coming in, and it will go all day. You know, if you're in a busy place, it goes all day, and that energy for me, it grabbed me straight away. Really? I just went, this is amazing. I want to be a part of this. Yeah, I loved it. I love it. I've loved it from day one. I still love it now.
And so when you started, you know, doing all the washing up in KP, in this one particular, hotel. And did you then start going into doing other things like, you know, start cooking and start prepping,
pretty much.
You went up the ladder within...
Quite quickly. I mean, it's one of those industries that if you haven't got very much in the way of GCSEs, if you've got a work ethic and a willingness to drive yourself and push yourself, and you have standards that you want to achieve, that's nothing to do with being able to tick a box in an education that's based on academia. You can go through going, actually, graft, hard work, excitement, enjoyment, and still being creative and seen respected as a professional. You can do it, you know, it doesn't matter your social background, your economic background, your education, your sexuality, your religion, you can come into that industry, and it completely embraces everybody.
It's so true.
So within a work ethic, you can just drive. And I just went from kind of washing up to starting to washing the salads, or doing a little few of the starters, or doing a little bit of the garnishes, like cooking the new potatoes and things. And then, you know, I got asked to come in 2 or 3 days a week in the evenings, and then 5 days, and then I went to catering college. So I went to catering college. I decided to do. It was kind of like a part-time course. It was 3 or 4 days a week at college, but then I would work every evening. Right. So my life became just fully immersed in the whole system, the project of it, and loved it. And then when I left college, I just went straight into the space where I'd been working full time, and it was amazing. And it's a brilliant experience. It was just such a great industry to be in. I think it has changed, but in those days in the early 90s when I first started in a kitchen, it was just all about you'd be there for the breakfast shift, and then you do lunch, and then before you know it, you're clearing down after lunch, and you realise that there's 42 people booked that evening, and you haven't got to, and it's just like, well, I've got to get it done, and then the first customers come through the door at 6 o'clock, and you're like, I mean, it's just the day just goes,
it's relentless.
It is relentless, but
amazing.
I mean, I wouldn't change any of it for the world. I love it. There's something about a really good, hard day's work that you have such an elation and a sense of achievement that you've completed something. And the thing about cooking is, particularly being in a chef in a busy kitchen, you get that adrenaline. You do. Twice a day, lunch, dinner. Like twice a day you go on this buzz, and there's this fine line. I mean, that's what makes being a chef exciting for me. You know, the pressure, the flames, the sense of danger somewhere. I mean, there's always sharp knives and there's always heat. Do you know what I mean? It's not really dangerous. I mean, you know what you're doing with it, but you know, you can burn yourself, you can cut yourself. It is pressured, it is. So there is this kind of build up of pressure and adrenaline and time scale. You keep looking at the clock, oh my God, the first guests are in, and I've still got that to do. And some people absolutely thrive on that, and I love that. Other people crumble, and they just go, this really isn't the industry for me. I don't like being I love that. Yeah, I love that. It's almost So I've been quite lucky where we're at now that I've worked quite a lot with professional sportsmen in different spaces, whether it's in racing cars, whether it's in professional football, or whether it's with the England rugby team, where you talk to people about what they do and how they do. And it's almost like being a professional sportsman. When they go out onto that pitch, it's everything right there and then, and it's very similar in a kitchen. But you know, if you're a pro sportsman, you do it once, maybe twice a week, you know. Yeah. In a kitchen, you do it twice a day. Yeah. So you get this, you are on this like real high buzz that comes down high, but so it is relentless, it's exhausting, but it's so exciting.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, you get into bed and you know that you've worked really hard, and your head is not even going to hit the pillow before you're out.
yeah. The only problem is, you know that you're having to set your alarm, and it's only 4.5 hours time that you've got to get up.
Okay, so kind of after having, you know, really successful career in London, you decided to get your first restaurant, which happened to be a pub. Yeah. Why did you choose a pub?
A character of my character. Now, I cooked in all these top end spaces, but I'd never really want to go to them on my day off. Like, as a chef, you don't have to get dressed up to go and eat food. So why have you got to dress up smart to go and eat nice food? I don't get it. I don't get. True. I get it when there's special occasions, and we all love those places. Yeah, you know, we all like dressing up every now and then to go and have something amazing and whatever. But on a daily basis, from a business point of view, you can't just be busy Friday, Saturday night, and Sunday lunch. You've got to be busy. You know, every day you're open.
Wednesday lunchtime.
Yeah, you've got to be. You know, you've got to make Monday nights the new Saturday. You know, for it to work as a business, you've got to have an energy. Yeah. Now, people don't necessarily go out and celebrate stuff on a Monday. People just want to go out and have something to eat. So in my head, I was like, I don't understand why we constantly see good food as also then having to make an effort in dressing up. Why can't you just turn up in a pair of jeans or shorts and flip-flops and a football shirt and still have something nice? There's nothing wrong with that. So in my head, I thought, where does that suit? Where does that fit me most comfortably? And it was in a pub, and it was trying to find the right site and the right space. And when we found the Hand of Flowers, we found it, myself and Beth, my wife, we were looking on the internet, on pub sites, and trying to find different things, and we knew the moment I saw the picture, I knew it was right. I just knew it's the right size for cover wise, in terms of, it was a very small team. We opened it, myself, 2 other guys in the kitchen, Beth and my best mate behind the bar, and then a part-time waitress, and that was it. And you go, but it was small enough to contain and be okay and be busy, and you can get a couple of part-time staff in, but it was also big enough for you to be able to run it it would work. So everything just ticked a box. And Marlowe's such a beautiful town.
Yeah, it really is.
We're very lucky. It's such a community-based, really supportive of businesses, and so it was all those kind of boxes got ticked, and it was just the opportunity to open something that felt that I and Beth would like to be on a day off, and you just go, okay, that's great, it works. And we still have that ethos now. It's very different. Like, it's gone down the line. It's 17 and a half years old. It's developed. Lots of people, particularly in the food world, nationally, even internationally, know of this pub, have been to this pub, and they go, okay, it now has, you know, it's busier, it's incredibly expensive to run. We started off without a members, we've now got 75 staff. You know, it's 75 staff in this pub. So it's massive. Wow. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
And how many covers now?
It's got 15 tables. We'll do 45, 50 for lunch, and 45 the same for dinner. Same for lunch, same for dinner. 50 for lunch, 50 for dinner. 15 rooms.
Yes.
And you go, okay, but the maintenance of it, to keep something of that level maintained, consistent, to meet expectation. You know, 3 or 4 barmen, somebody, just a host that says hello when they walk through the door, checking rooms in, some being driven to the room, like the whole process, housekeeping, the whole thing it's incredibly expensive to run. Yeah. It's incredibly expensive to come and eat here. Like, but with that, the one thing that we love doing and we're so proud of doing is being a level of service and professionalism that we hope is up there. Yeah. That you go, okay, this is...
Totally is.
It's the difference between driving a Ferrari, buying a Ferrari, or having a mainstream motor. They both do the same thing. You can go to a pub around the corner where you could have a steak and and you could have a steak and chips, but the steak would probably be from Argentina and been frozen, and come here and it's dirt cheap and it's been thrown in a fryer by someone who doesn't really care, and the chips are processed and it's still steak and chips, and it's a pub and you've had a pint of beer. Or you can come here and have, the difference is they do the same things, but if you really enjoy focusing on product, produce, people, professionalism, all of those sort of things, then that's what you end up paying for. I mean, we're constantly, you're in the industry, you know, we're constantly up against this battle of why we should be trying to justify pricing. I've no idea. But, when you have to go, this is the cost of everything, this is the reality of the cost.
And it's only going to go up.
Businesses do not make, hospitality businesses do not make money. They don't make loads of money, right? They don't make...
I don't think people know that.
But people hear of it all the time that 2 or 3 restaurants, two out of 3 restaurants close within the first year.
I know.
Well, if it was true that they made loads of money, that wouldn't be happening, would it?
Like, we'd have restaurants everywhere.
It's so difficult to make money out of it. You really have to know what you're doing. You have to be fighting for it 18 hours a day, constantly on that business. But if you love it, and then you've got guests that come because they love high-end produce, they love somebody loving their job, then it becomes a celebration. And so the Hand has developed and grown into this space that it is super exciting to be a part of. Every day you walk in and there's people that are thoroughly enjoying their stay and being with us, but also staff that have been with us for such a long time.
Very loyal. We've got really loyal.
We've got... So Lourdes, who's general manager, has been with us for over 15 years. Katie, who's running around this morning, restaurant manager, she's 13 years. Froda, barman's 11 years.
And I have no idea how they remember, because I come in, this is like when I come for a real treat, I always come here. So over the years, I've been coming, every time I come in, they know exactly, they're like, oh, welcome back, do you want a pint? Because it's normally my favourite thing. They know everyone, and they know their first drink or what they want to drink, or it's brilliant. It's
they're
real
very
art.
good at remembering people. They're very good at but people coming back having a nice time, and because we've got that consistency and level of staff that have been with us for a long time, they are remembering, and they know the build. They've grown with the building.
And just talking a little bit about kind of hospitality and what we've just gone through, and pubs, and with the pandemic was tough, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been very hard. I mean, I think there's so many businesses that have been affected by it, and whenever you say something about how hospitality, there's somebody who goes, yeah, but we've been affected. I know everybody, everybody, like whether it's travel, tourism, airlines, the arts, theatre, musicians, just like anything to do where people have to go out, connect with each other and travel or spend time with each other has been absolutely... But I think hospitality, there's something about the hospitality industry that's right pivotal within the middle of it, because if you go out to theatre or a music venue and you go and see, you probably go for a dinner or something, or a drinks first, or you do, and the same as travel. We have a business that used to provide food on an airline. Well, airline stopped, so then that's like all of those. So that
because you were with British Airways, right?
Yeah, exactly. We were working, and we still are. We still are working with them. Again, now they're up in the air and flying. Yeah. But throughout that period, everything kind of shuts down. It grinds to a halt.
Supply chain,
So it's very difficult, and I think moving forward, there's places are busy. People want to come out and eat and do stuff. However, there's the appetite for going out. People want to go out, but there are massive pressures on hospitality businesses. There's a lot of places that would have taken a huge amount of debt on over the last 2 years to operate, to survive, to be able to come through the other side, that are now busy because there's guests coming back. But those 2 years, there's lots of underlying problems that have now been, that are underneath the surface of this busy pub, for example, they've got 2 years of debt that they've got to pay back, which in turn, if it was operating pre-pandemic levels, that's maybe making 10% profit. Well, all of a sudden you've got massive debt burden that you've now got to pay. So any profit you might have been making is gone. But also there's that fact now that there's a huge staff shortage,
Yeah.
which means that many businesses are being forced to, instead of being operating at a 7-day, they're operating at a 6 or even a 5-day business.
We're 5.
We're 5 in one of them down the road, you know, because we haven't got the staffing levels, they're not there to be able to operate. So you go, okay, so I can't operate 7 days. So that's 2 days of revenue that have gone. All right, okay, it's 2 days less of food costs or 2 days less of staffing costs. But those aren't the reality of the cost of running a business. So you've got added debt burden, you've got increased costs of everything else coming in, but now you've got less revenue. So it's going to be a very tricky and difficult couple of years. Even if you're busy, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're coping or surviving. So it does make it's going to be very difficult for hospitality coming through the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to know to support their local pubs and keep going down there.
Support the local pub, but also be a little bit more understanding of the people within the industry that are working in those pubs, because we've lost 400,000 people have left the industry, right?
I know.
You'd be very sad if more pubs disappeared or more coffee shops disappeared or more sandwich spaces or more, like if they weren't there, like it's everybody else. They enhance your daily life. Be a bit more supportive of it. Everybody that's in it, we're all working very hard to make it work.
Everyone that's in the industry. Well, you are an absolute superstar.
Thanks, mate.
I love what you've created.
Oh, thanks,
and
Shirley.
I love what you've done for the whole world as a fellow kind of publican. And flying the flag. I don't think we'll ever get up to 2 Michelin stars.
But we have 2 Michelin stars here, and it's great. But it's still, the pub vibe is a warm, welcoming, make people feel comfortable. Someone says hello, have a pint of beer, enjoy a bit of lunch, and it doesn't matter whether it's a Michelin star, no Michelin stars, 2 Michelin stars. It's about creating an energy and an atmosphere that creates a busy vibe for guests, and we all have levels and standards that we work towards. But the one biggest thing that should be there for pubs is always that sense of warmth, welcoming, community spirit, heart and soul, all of that sort of stuff, and that's what pubs are there for, and that's what makes them amazing.
Oh well, thanks to kind of people. Well, I won't say myself because I hate doing that, but thanks to you keeping these beautiful buildings, going with that whole kind of lovely warmth like you've just described. You're a blinking superstar. And thank you for talking to me. I just love chatting to you. You just chat all day. And thank you for the drive.
Pleasure.
It's been awesome.
Hooray!
I love you so much. Give me a cut off.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.